You wrote the first Outlander as practice.
I did.
That doesn't make any sense. You were writing scientific literature prior.
I was a scientist in my previous incarnation. I have a PhD in quantitative behavioral ecology, and I was a university professor at the time at Arizona State. And but I'd known since I was 8 years old that I was supposed to write novels. That's the age I was when I realized that people actually wrote books. They didn't just pop out of the library bookshelves.
Right.
And I said, that's what I'm supposed to do. But I didn't know how. I mean, no writer does, as you know. You just start in and you gradually figure out how it's going to work for you. Because there is no one way to write, you know, it's just what works for you. So I, for instance, write in the middle of the night between midnight and 4:30 in the morning as my prime time. I write some during the day, but it's mostly at night. As everybody leaves me alone, the house is quiet, my mind is fresh and alert at that period, which it is not at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and for other people, you know, they really thrive on outlines. They really need to know where the ending is. I don't need to know that. I just need to know one thing about this scene that will let me get a foothold on it. And from there, it kind of unrolls, and, you know, the scene happens here, the scene happens here. And I'm doing research all of the time, and that stimulates other scenes, as well as, you know, what I set to find out. I find out a lot of other stuff that's interesting along the way, which triggers more scenes, and there's a reason why the books are very big.
It haunts me in the best way.
That's great.
Does it still do that to you? Or
oh yeah, no, it's still very exciting to, you know, walk into the book, you know, when I'm working. And, where I am right now, which is in the very finishing stages of the 9th book. So it's very, very exciting because this is the stage where I know everything that's happening, and it's just how long can I sit at the computer before somebody calls me away or I fall over, you know.
So it isn't a matter of where do I go from here. It's I've just got to. I know where it's going.
I don't write with an outline. I don't write in a straight line. I write where I can see something happening. And then that scene will, you know, gradually unfold itself to me while I'm working on it. When that scene is done, if I know what happens next, I write that. If I don't know, I go look for something else. And gradually I get all these little pieces. And so when I begin assembling the book, I say, well, you know, this happens here. And I know I wrote a piece in which this happens, so where is that? You know, I pull it up, put them together. Sometimes I need a little bridge to join them up. Sometimes they're fine. Sometimes I need to tweak something. I'll have a scene that I wrote, and I didn't know what time of year it was, so I wrote it as though it was springtime. Well, when it falls into place, it's autumn, so I go through and change the color of the leaves, you know, not a problem.
Right.
So, yeah, so there's all these little tweaks and fittings as it comes together. But also, you know, new things happen. The more you work with a book, the more it opens up to you, and you get additional layers and plot lines, things like that.
Already that part may sound complex to people, but often people are like, wow, it just flows out of you, and
that's what they think, yeah.
They think it's so simple. I loved a quote where you said, it feels like pushing a boulder with my nose up a mountain.
Yep.
And you're a consultant on the show, so you're able to see these things before. Is it hard to let go at all?
No, not for the most part, because, you know, from the beginning, I understood that this is a completely different medium.
Yeah.
You know, I've written graphic novels. I used to write Walt Disney comic books, and so I understood, you know, how you tell a story in a visual medium, and it's quite different from what I can do in a novel. I can do things in a novel that they can't touch in a visual medium, and vice versa. They can do things that are much more vivid, much more immediate. They can tell something in the flash of an eye that I would need at least a chapter to set the emotional ambiance and that kind of thing. So both of the media have their strengths and their weaknesses, but I understood that to begin with, and so, you know, I respect their process and they respect mine. So, you know, we get along quite well. They show me the scripts and the dailies and so forth, and I tell them, you know, what I think. And as I said to Merrill Davis, one of the showrunners early on, I said, I'm very blunt. The upside of this is that you will never be in any doubt as to what I actually think about anything.
Great.
I said the downside, I'm sure you can deal with that.